Diana. This is James Emanuele. I'm the managing architect for Maron Structured Technologies, and this morning we're going to go over ACE, or the Agile Creation Environment from Avaya. And as we get into it, we'll talk a little bit how it's transforming telephony through the enterprise and CEBP, right? You can see by the title here, we're going to dive a little deeper than just some of the functionality of it and really kind of talk about the value for the enterprise that ACE brings. So as Avaya was looking to develop into this market of enterprise applications, really had to look at what the market was doing, right? And this is from Gartner back in 2010, and you can see that the #1 priority then was improving business processes, and then also changing the innovation in 2013. So if you look at when that time period was, you're really kind of still in a little bit of the economic downturn. Of course, every business out there really wanted to improve on process, trying to drive more value through better processes within their organization. And as the economy rises or revenues become stronger, they're going to be looking to dive into the innovation that's coming out in the marketplace. Things like mobility, video, social networking. Social networking is huge right now. You can see right there, 2010, 1 billion queries per day and 1,000 tweets per second. That can really drive customer contact for your organization. The rise of the cloud. The cloud is kind of a trendy topic here, but it's true. The cloud environments, no hardware, no software type of solutions are really on the forefront of the CIO's priorities. And so that's what kind of started driving Avaya towards this people-centric collaboration, right? And there's a lot of ways you can look at what that is, but really it's about a collaboration of technology through openness. And as you get into ACE, you'll see how ACE accommodates that. And this slide just kind of gives you some ideas of what we're talking about with that. Things like automating business workflows, new video economics, some of the Avaya product lines like Avaya Flare, productivity suites like Microsoft Office and things like that, as well as some of the mobile devices, and then the introduction of Skype into the enterprise for consumers and employees. It's really trying to create the consumerization of the enterprise, which really means bringing the consumer into the business at a way in a more personal touch than it's ever been achieved before. So Avaya is doing this with a holistic approach to collaboration. With the push of the cloud, with the push of open source type solutions, any vendor, Avaya, Cisco, Microsoft, those are just kind of the top 3 out there. Oracle. Really, the day of the proprietary solution is gone. Everybody's pushing towards this open approach, and Avaya is no different. Trying to create collaboration with technology versus trying to create technology for themselves, and that's what ACE really is. It's a core enterprise collaboration platform for developing applications on top of. And we'll dive a little deeper into some of those applications that exist today, and then some of the openness of it. So the power of openness, right? How much power is really in a true open platform? Well, just kind of look here at some of the major platforms that are out there in the marketplace. Things like SharePoint, Microsoft Office. Maybe you're using IBM Business Manager, CRM platforms like Microsoft Dynamics. Of course, you have Avaya Dev Connect for different applications that you may be doing within your Avaya space. And I don't want to leave out anything in healthcare as well. You have nurse call systems. You have ERM systems. So the power of openness and being able to access all of that from a single unified desktop, and also being able to administer from a centralized application administration location, is really true openness. Being able to collaborate the data and the technology together from multiple sources seamlessly is really the true power of openness. And this slide kind of gives you an idea of what this desktop brings to your user, and also some of the device integration that you can have. things like mobility devices and tablets and desk phones and cell phones, and the list goes on and on these days. So truly think about how much power is in integrating that data from all these different systems within your enterprise today. So what were some of these challenges that existed in the marketplace before? Probably the biggest integration in the marketplace right now, or I say before, but really kind of right now, was this Microsoft OCS and now getting into Link integration, right? So Microsoft has their UM, or their Unified Communications solutions today. And a lot of people were trying to integrate, whether it was voicemail to email, maybe you're using Microsoft Instant Messaging and you wanted that to be on your, on your Avaya system. Trying to integrate those was a little bit difficulty. A lot of it had to do with forklifting infrastructure, replacing devices, and adding separate call control platforms. Well, and a lot of times you're changing the user experience. And the reason for that was a lot of those integrations were being done with direct SIP. So if you're familiar with some of the networking combinations out there, direct SIP is really no different than a regular H.323 tie trunk. It's just a SIP trunk between two systems. And it really, it works, but it had some issues. And if those of you that have ever used it are probably familiar with some of these. Things like the Microsoft CALs, right? So you had to purchase these CALs for OCS, or the Plus CAL for Link. There's a large TCO overhead for implementing and maintaining dual voice infrastructure. So, in order to do things like a Microsoft with Avaya, or a Cisco with Avaya, right? You're maintaining two voice infrastructure. That's a high TCO. The hardware footprint, that all goes into TCO as well. Not only just maintaining it by the amount of manpower you need to maintain dual systems, but TCO in general. There, when you have hardware, you have hardware maintenance, you have software maintenance, things like that. So that all goes into TCO as well. And then also when you look at things like the contact center, having to use third-party contact center platforms, very limited mobility support, and there was no road mapping for VDI. Well, one of the more common concerns of it, and this is really what comes up in the marketplace a lot right now, is RCC. And if you're not familiar with RCC, the main thing that you need to think about with RCC is called call control. How do I control a call that starts on one platform and is terminated to another platform? Meaning, I want to control the algorithms, or the programming, or the administration, or the routing of this call on one platform, but my device, my endpoint device, is actually answering that on a separate platform. How do I create call control between that device and my core system that is actually controlling the routing? And we do that with RCC. And you can see some of the other functions here. So click to call, presence, station state stays in sync with OCS, and remote control of a desk phone, like I was talking about. So if you were doing anything more than just sending a call to one of these other third-party phones, especially with OCS or Link, you had RCC considerations to talk about. Call control was an issue. And here are some of the concerns. It required the CALs, right, for Microsoft, so it became an expensive solution. And the biggest risk is that it was never a formal supported solution by Microsoft at all. It worked, but they would take the functionality in and out of different versions of the Microsoft platform. So you never really knew if it was going to work with that version or not. And then obviously the second client required to support mobility, remote, and non-desk phone users. So direct SIP to SIP was working, and a lot of you might have done that through AES with Microsoft to create this RCC with call control. And it worked, but there's definitely some limitations and concerns to the platform. So here's the ACE approach to this, and this is where it kind of creates a flexible architecture to eliminate some of those concerns that existed before. Obviously, it's going to leverage the Avaya Aura for call processing, so most of you will be on CM 5.2 or CM 6, or going forward 6.2, and you know how versions will continue to go with software. Multi-mode capabilities and next-gen SIP architecture. It's going to establish this enterprise business platform. So taking your business process and moving it into into an application space, taking your, or maybe it's maybe it's your CRM, and centralizing it into an application development space or into a centralized platform where users can access it from a single desktop. And on the IT side, you can administer it from a single desktop, as well with maybe you have other databases or other systems that you want to integrate that data to. So establishing that centralized application platform for your enterprise is what the ACE approach does. It's going to maximize your flexibility and choice. When it comes down to choice, we're really talking about endpoint devices, right? You got business users like choices. They like flashy things. Being able to leverage those through a common SIP architecture, that's what ACE is going to do for you. And then flexibility. You have flexibility now in the enterprise application space to integrate and to utilize data from different platforms, and to not be concerned when you purchase one platform if it's going to integrate to another. Basically, they all come together through ACE in a centralized application platform. And then reuse infrastructure and handsets. So that's a big one. I think most of us know that one of the major costs to upgrading the platform or overhauling a platform can be the handsets. ACE is going to support the reusing of those. So ACE Experience, this is with OCS and Link. Click to call from the communicator client to control via phones, telephony presence, communicator client a soft phone for Avaya Aura, single client experience sign-on, click to call extended to Microsoft Office and Internet Explorer. OCS 2007 Release 2 was available when this presentation was made. Link in Q3. Link is supported today, I can tell you that. In fact, the only way to get call control with Avaya to Microsoft Link and vice versa is using the ACE platform. Microsoft is not supporting call control through AES any longer. So keep that in mind too, those of you that may be looking to move into Link and maybe you're doing some call control things today. Microsoft is not supporting RCC in AES. It has to be ACE. This is just a case study, and I won't go through it. But basically, the challenge here was to unify a virtual desktop strategy for this large trading platform, and they had Microsoft Instant Messaging without presence. You can take a look here. The solution was Avaya ACE with the Microsoft Communicator add-in. So that's another good point. ACE has a native Microsoft plugin, so there's no, it's a plug-and-play experience with Microsoft. Consistent experience for OCS users. So in terms of your end user, they were familiar with the Microsoft. They still had the Microsoft, and it worked completely fine. And then I think the biggest value is that now you have this enterprise platform for developing your enterprise applications and centralizing all that in your core and pushing it out to your end users. That to me is really the true value of ACE. Things like integration with Microsoft or integration with IBM, things like those are functional type roles of the platform. Those are things that have to exist in the platform because it exists today in the market. But truly having this open source development platform is really where the real value is for the enterprise. And then we talked about this holistic approach, and earlier I mentioned that Avaya is developing more on collaboration and technology and less on developing on itself, Avaya. So we put ACE in the core, and what that allows you to do is extend collaboration to any environment. It's a completely open source platform, and what I mean by that is it supports pretty much all the major programming languages such as .NET, C++, ASP, SALT, XML, VXML, CCXML, Java. So pretty much any platform that exists today that's written in one of the major programming languages is going to be able to integrate to the Avaya ACE platform. And you can see here things like back office software integration like SAP and Oracle, application integration from IBM and Microsoft, mobile devices, things like tablets, iPhones, Blackberries, being able to push applications out to those things, and then a multi-vendor network. Some of you may have multi-vendor today and be struggling with what do you do because you're multi-vendor. Well, maybe the answer is to collaborate those systems versus overhauling. It's much less expensive, and you can still get the value from all the systems. So what does it really do? Collaboration, being able to utilize a multi-vendor platform, being able to collaborate data from multiple solutions and devices, and really truly harnessing that power. Well, it reduces the total cost of ownership. Infrastructure and device and investment protection. Like I said, you purchase devices, hopefully you don't have to replace them in 3 years, right? You'd like to be able to extend that investment a little longer than that, and that's what the ACE platform does for you. In terms of Microsoft and IBM, the integration is native. So the CAL licensing that you had to purchase before, that goes away with this platform. Compliance recording and logging, those of you that are paying for extremely expensive call recording platforms today, put that call recording application right up in ACE and run it natively from your core, and that'll overcome that cost as well. And then a single dial plan, one voice, video, unified messaging network, trunk consolidation, and app centralization. Right? So we talked about consolidation through collaboration, driving down the total cost of ownership, and you do that through centralizing your applications, reducing your hardware footprint, and really streamlining your business process around that core. Sorry about that, I jumped a slide. But going forward, talking about choice and flexibility, it came up earlier in the presentation, and I just want to touch on it here on this slide as well. The flexibility of the IT environment, I think, is crucial going forward as an IT engineer, as an IT architect. Being able to have the flexibility to utilize multi-solutions, being able to choose which vendors you want to work with and then integrate them into a common core, so that on your engineering side you're not administering 6 different platforms from 6 different areas, right? How much more efficient does your IT system administration and system management become through utilizing a core enterprise application development platform like ACE? And then going into choice, giving your business end users the choice to go with a vendor that they really, really like and not having to worry about how you're going to integrate it. Giving them the choice to go with different endpoints, different end devices, and all of that. Think about that. I mean, the more choice you give your end user, right, the happier you think they should be with the solution that they're using on a day-to-day basis, and hopefully that turns into better customer satisfaction, which turns into revenue for the organization. So you can kind of tie those all together through the soft ROI approach, but really you're just enabling flexibility and choice into the IT enterprise and into your end user enterprise solution. So this is the ACE kind of the ACE special that's running right now from Avaya. If you take a look at the top slide right here, the top piece of this, the prerequisites. So obviously you have to be at a certain point in your technology to utilize something like ACE, and for Avaya it's the Avaya or CM 5.2 or higher, and it can be the Enterprise Edition or the Standard Edition with the UC all-inclusive licenses. Now keep in mind that when you purchase Enterprise Edition CM or Standard Edition CM, you get the UC entitlement bundle, so you already meet those prereqs without buying any new or any additional UC product lines. They come standard with that CM installation, so keep that in mind with that offer. And then maybe if you're on the Nortel side, you can take advantage of ACE as well, and you just need to be to the Avaya CS1000 platform with converged office, and you can see the releases right there that are supported. So 2 ways to go about it in terms of meeting prerequisites on the Avaya or the Nortel side. And then this is where the entitlement really becomes valuable for you from the financial standpoint of the business. An Avaya ACE user license can be up to $140 depending on which pieces of ACE that you like or you want to use. So that's included as an entitlement with ACE. ACE integration with Microsoft OCS, Lync, or IBM Lotus same time. That's an entitlement with ACE. And then click-to-call from web pages and things like that. That functionality is also an entitlement. Things that you have to buy, right? Obviously, you have to buy something to get something. So Avaya ACE server, right? There's a hardware platform to support all this. It's around $11,200. You have the Avaya ACE platform support. You can see right there, $12 a user. And then also you have to do Avaya APS implementation of $15,000 plus $1 user increment. So if you look at it, when you're purchasing a solution, 90% of the cost is in the licensing. So your licensing is covered with this entitlement. You are having to purchase hardware support and obviously implementation. So that's the offer from Avaya right now. It is still active, and I actually have a lot of clients that have taken advantage of this, and the savings are pretty remarkable. The holistic advantage of the ACE, user flexibility and choice. I know I kept pounding on it, but again, it's a hot point of the IT industry right now. You know, collaboration from preferred platform via Avaya or third-party mobile and desktop devices for any work type, right? Again, we talked about flexibility on the IT side, flexibility in endpoints and devices on the customer side, you know, driving value for your enterprise. The mature CEBP vision for business agility, you know, out of the box, simple toolkits and packages with a broad developer ecosystem. Again, it's an open source platform, so from a development standpoint, it has to be powerful. And it also has toolkits and packages to support that. Multimodal SIP platform, so session-based model, not instant message / presence or email centric. So when we talk about being able to integrate with any platform, being able to create this holistic application development platform for the enterprise, well, you can't have it just based on instant message, presence, and email. That's great. Again, that's a functional part of the product, which is a hot item in the market. But again, the true value is an enterprise centralized application platform, and you have to do that by utilizing sessions, SIP sessions, to create the openness with other platforms. And so that's what the multimodal SIP platform does. Contact center leadership, feature rich with native UC integration, not third-party led. Right, so in your call center today, we're seeing more and more blending between UC and call center. Right? Call center is not just taking calls or making calls anymore. Call center people are doing emails, they're doing instant messaging, they're doing video chat, they're doing web chat, they're they're on Facebook and other social media things, communicating with customers, and having that native integration between your call center and your enterprise application party really drives the features for your customer experience. And then mobility options. You know, this is really the mobility platform in the market. It's the market leader for driving mobility on tablets, iPhones, right, Blackberries, different mobile devices, and then having the applications to back it up. Things like 1X mobility. Those are applications that drive value from the core and push out to your end users. So here's the overall framework, right, of this communications-enabled business process. People-centric CBP platform for simple integration of real-time communications with applications and workflows. Again, simplify it through toolkits and packages, so the product is coming with, with standard templates, standard toolkits for these various, market leaders in their business and social media productivity suites. Maybe it's endpoint devices from IBM or Tandberg or Microsoft or Polycom. Being able to drive the value of these platforms through a centralized application like ACE is where the real value is for your organization. Right? Driving innovation with ACE. Wow, they took the words right out of my mouth. So here's an example of some of the applications that reside within ACE today. These are just some some examples here. Things like CareFX Healthcare Portal, right? Being able to integrate, patient information, right? So a portal to actually integrate patient information. A map, something like Google Maps, right? Being able to drag and drop for E911 systems, being able to drag and drop emergency contacts or emergency conference calls into states and regions and streets, utilizing Match Touchscreen. IBM Business Process Manager. There's probably a lot of people that use that. That's a pretty popular product, but now you can see that there's a drag and drop communication into workflows. Jive software, that's embedded social networking, right? Jive software integrates with your Facebook, with your LinkedIn, with your Twitter, and you can get all types of reporting and engage people through Jive software, through ACE. And then, there's other examples here like Novell, Corporate Portal, and again, the hospital. Here's another one, a great one, Hospital Code Card, being able to drive compliance checks through applications from your core like ACE. So here's some recommendations for the customers. Obviously, ACE is the leader on top here. It's Avaya's strategic strategy going forward. Avaya is really driving to be that that business platform enabler that drives the innovation of collaboration with your enterprise solutions. Save on the Microsoft cows, service the remote workers, multi-vendor voice infrastructure, hosted Microsoft, and minimize the technology risk. For those of you within the AES, upgrade deployed AES for OCS to ACE to AES for Link. Zero tolerance for adding software to the desktop. Right, so that's where you run into the problem with things like controlling a Microsoft softphone through AES. There is no more development between AES and Microsoft. And then on the Avaya CS1000 Converged Office, need OCS integration and not planning on upgrading to Link. So that kind of lays out some of the recommendations of some of the different platforms that you may have existing in your environment today, and then obviously how ACE minimizes that standardization and risk of those technology platforms. All right, some of the marketing here from Avaya. You can obviously go to avaya.com/ACE to learn more, or on YouTube, or you can call your friendly Maron structure architect or account manager with any questions you might have. All right, and that's the end of the ACE presentation. Are there any questions from the group?